Hey, welcome to the live stream today. We're so excited you guys are joining us today. Hey, by the way, before we get started, if you can, thumbs up it, leave a comment if you got something out of it today. And we want to appreciate your time. And you might want to hit a few people up real quickly. Yep, we're going to try something different. So thank you. All this week, we're going to be doing a marathon Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So bear with us and be back here every day this week at this time. You know, today's subject and what I'm going to be addressing this week on this call is subjects that you guys sent in that you wanted me to talk about and reflect on, and maybe it'll bless you. So today's topic, I'm going to talk about how I actually own a bank and how I actually bought a hotel with my credit card. So I'm going to address these two subjects here on this call to show you some things and talk about some things, how I did it. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, that was back in those days. You can't do that today. Yes, you can. There's still deals around the world, around the country. You still can do the same thing. So I'm going to dive right in. How did you get to own a bank in Vegas, Mr. Thomas? Well, let me tell you something about bank ownership. First of all, you have to have what they call to be an accredited investor. What does that mean? Accredited investor. You have to have a certain level of income and a certain amount of net worth. For example, $1 million net worth, your income level should be over $250,000, a little bit more now than then. And the funds that you invest in, most stocks and bonds and everything else, they should not be your everyday money. I'm going to talk about that. That's another subject we'll talk this week on the 4 levels of money. That's on another talk. But anyway, once you have these things and they see that you're not paycheck to paycheck and you need this money to survive, and it's your disposable money. In other words, money that you can do something with, and it's not everyday money or money you need. They said, okay, great. And you got a history of net worth, a history of your net worth. And they see that you are a large depositor, which I was at that time, a large depositor at that particular bank, because my income, let's just say this, it was very healthy. So being a large depositor, being one of the top largest depositor in that bank, they look at you and they say, hey, we want to talk to you. Like anybody with money, they want to always talk to you. Even at the levels of your family want to talk to you. You start making money in your own business or network marketing, insurance, real estate. They always want to talk to you. They always got a deal. But they look at depositors who have an outstanding in the community and moral ethics and this kind of thing. So they look at that. So as an accredited investor, number one. Number two, being a business owner. Being a business owner in the community I live in Vegas here, in the Red Rock community area, being an accredited investor and also a business owner with a net worth over $1 million, with a certain income level, like I said before, and a great history, a great background. They do a criminal check on you. You have to have a solid background. You haven't been a bank robber. You have to be, no criminal background, the FBI check, CIA, and all that stuff. But a lot of that. And you bring money in the bank. And another thing, it's like recruiting and network marketing or insurance or real estate. Can you bring in other depositors like yourself with nice sums of money into our branch, into our bank? That's another reason they want you, because they figure birds of a feather, say it with me, flock together. Absolutely. So if you're making a certain amount of money, your net worth is this much, therefore you must know people like that. And you could be, here again, let's use the word again, an influencer. Way before we start talking about influencer on YouTube. So are you an influencer? What kind of credibility do you have in the community? What's your net worth? It's over $1 million. Do you make a certain amount of income? What's your debt ratio? How much you got coming in, how much you're paying out. So these are things. And do you understand, watch this is a big one, how money works. Most people do not know how money works. And I talk about how money works. But this week, you guys will have a good one this week. So they wanted to make sure of this, okay? Next, what's important to them? Can you make and be on the board and make the board meetings? Can you make the board meetings? Matter of fact, I make board meetings and they said, well, since you understand how money works and good debt from bad debt, what's good debt from bad debt? Good debt makes you money. Bad debt makes you pay for it. Most people have a lot of bad debt and no good debt, or what I call cash flowing assets. Like Robert Kiyosaki say, assets feed you, liabilities eat you. Good evening, Mr. Rick K in Hawaii. Thank you for much joy. Mr. Strada out there, good evening. Miss Crummer out in New York, thank you, dear. Miss Janet, thank you so much. Kathleen Williams out of Sacramento, thank you for all joining this evening. You know, so banks look at this, you know, can you approve loans? And then you can start approving loans. As you look over the loan portfolio that comes in over the month, we have a meeting once a month or maybe sometime twice a month, and we go through the loan portfolio and people who want to borrow money from us. We look at their assets, the potential to pay back. So we look at all the things and criteria that I've talked about on the channel. Matter of fact, you can go back and talk about and look at the 3 videos I did on credit and credit cards. Go back and listen to that over and over and take notes. And it'll show you what we look at so we can approve people. Most people are eyeballed up there in debt. So anyway, thank you, Dr. Lee, for joining. Ms. Sherion in Florida, thank you for saying hello. So these are the things we look at. And when I sit on the board of the directors of the bank, it also gave me insight in what direction the city was growing in, because we would have council people come in and talk to us about direction. I remember when Fifth Avenue was coming in here in Vegas, it was just dirt. And we looked at the plans the city had and what they had planned on having, and contractors would come in and want to borrow money to put buildings up. So we saw the development in what area the city was going in. So, you know, if you're smart, you might want to buy in that area. It gave you a little insight. Let's just say that, a little insight which way the city was going. And if you were smart, you might want to pick up some property in that location out that area before it got out, the word got out. You know, it shows you who's moving into Vegas. You know, development company, I mean, with the city council and development of the area, we saw a lot of stuff that was happening that normally most people don't get a chance to see. Or let's say this, you would see it after the fact, after it's got approval, after they start building, after the fact. Remember, write this down. Wealthy people want to get in the front of where the money is going. Who's that? Grancy say he goes not where the putt's at, where the putt is going to go. We always want to invest before it gets there. That's the key. Get there before it gets there. And a lot of times you're going to be talking in the next couple of days. I'm going to talk about we always make our money when we buy, not when we sell. Matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about that in a second. Good evening, Mr. Danny Payne up in Alberta, Canada. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to talk about that when I talk about the hotel. We always buy property. Watch this. We make our money when we buy it, not when we sell it. The average person buys here, hope and praise go higher. No. We buy here, even though it's worth here. Does that make sense? I'm going to talk about that about the hotel next. So these are the things that people look at to be on the bank board or be an investor in the bank, have stock in the bank, to be on the bank board or be one of the owners of the bank. All these things come into play. And I tell you what, I was on that board for about 5 years. We had a great time. We got rid of it, sold it. Here again, it's an eye-opener. It was something new. Let me explain something to you. As you start getting more and more investments and understanding how investment goes, other opportunities will come to you. And next thing you know, you have cash flow through 4, 5, 6 different entities. Maybe none of them you can run, but they're coming in, and because you know how to grow your wealth. And that's why I'm a big component on growing your wealth through real estate. I'm a big component on growing your wealth through network marketing. I'm big on growing your wealth through traditional businesses. I'm huge on growing your wealth. But the average person, let me share this with you. If you're taking notes, if you get nothing out of this, remember this: from 9 to 5, you're making enough money. That's money to pay your bills. You get wealthy from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let me say it again. When you work 9 to 5, that's to pay your bills. Right? 9 to 5 to pay the bills. You get wealthy at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. after work. Everybody I know, and tell me who do you know got wealthy from 9 to 5 or at a 9 to 5? Nobody. You get wealthy after work from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's how you create wealth. Wealth is created after 5 p.m. Think about it. Everybody you know that got wealthy created after 5 p.m. Think about it. Everybody. Not a one worked for somebody else got wealthy. So I just proved that point to you. So as you start investing in other avenues of things that are assets, and then all of a sudden other doors will open up to you. That was one of many. But let's go back in my childhood a little further back when I first started investing in real estate. And I talked about, and one of the questions was, somebody said, Mr. Thomas, how did you buy the hotel with no money down? No money. Well, I'm going to tell you that story now. I'm going to spend the next few minutes sharing that story with you. You know, there was an ad in a newspaper. I lived in the Bay Area back in those days, and I used to run ads in the paper. I remember I never had a job in my life. I never had a job. got out of high school, did a little bit of college, wasn't for me, left there. And I said, you know what, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And I started reading every book I could on real estate. So I only went to one class on real estate. I went to a course down in the Monterey area. I wanted to learn. So I was willing to invest into my brain food to learn something I knew nothing about. And I started reading and applying what I learned. Bill Tycoon Green, I put one of his books on there before, out of Mill Valley. I mean, he was teaching people how to buy stuff for no money down back in those days. And I was curious, and I wanted to devour everything I could. And as well, around those days, guess what the real estate people said? You can't do that here. You can't. I hear that stuff still to the day. And you know what? Things like this you still could do to this day. So let me tell you this. There was an ad in the newspaper. I put an ad in the newspaper. And here's what my ad said. I'll even tell you what my ad said. Private party, PVT, private, got abbreviated. It was only a 3-line ad, and I ran it from month to month. Private party desires income property, regardless of condition or location, and my phone number. That's all I put. I made tens of a lot. That was all I did. I put a little ad in the paper. And instead of me trying to track stuff down, my phone would ring, people come to me. And I screened them well. I knew the areas of property. I would write down the areas what's going on, and I go by and drive around and look at them. And it was funny because I know them pretty well after a while, and I've always looked for, I had a little worksheet, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's the condition, what needs to repair. I asked questions before I even went to look at them, and I had my map, and with my map would break down the city, and it would show me what part they were in, so I knew exactly what it was worth. After doing this enough time, you understand the value of something without running around looking at everything. So you understand, the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, a workman worthy. So I had to break it down and learn it. I was willing to learn it, roll my sleeves up. This is my future. And this particular day, a call came in. A guy from Southern California, he was from the Middle East. He said, I got a hotel I want to sell. Oh, by the way, I want to show you, I even had T-shirts made up, and I gave around to my crew. And here's my T-shirts. It says Thomas Properties, We Buy Property, and my phone number, 916-638-6333. That was my phone number. Thomas Properties. People would call me up because they saw the T-shirt. My friends would all wear my T-shirts. We buy property. That's all I put. People, we overtalk them. Keep it real simple. The T-shirt said it all. My phone would ring every day. I was doing so well, I ended up hiring a young lady named Rainey Mills, who's a funny story, talked to a couple of months ago. She would be my assistant. And I would just have her fill all the phone calls, and I go out and look at property, call the owners, and make deals. Anyway, let's go back to how I bought this hotel with my credit card. Newspaper ad, my phone rang. Guy said, hey, I've got a hotel to sell. It was on San Pablo Avenue in Oakland. It was a 20-unit hotel, 20-bedroom hotel, and it had 2,500 square feet commercial downstairs that was vacant. He had just remodeled the building. I mean, it was in good shape, but he was in LA. Watch this. First clue was he was an out-of-the-area owner. He wanted somebody who was going to take care of it, number one. And number two, pay his cash flow, pay him rent every month. So what he did, here's my proposal. Here's my proposal. He owned the building free and clear. I said, here's what I can do for you. He wanted $100,000 for this hotel back in the day. Yeah, but that was kind of, back then. I said, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you $20,000 down. You carry the loan. It's called owner will carry, OWC, for those that understand real estate. See, there's deals out there like all the time. Who said you needed cash? I mean, you always have people say, did it have bad credit? They had no credit. You don't need credit with this. I said, I'll give you 20 grand down. You carry the $80,000 for 7 years at, I think it was 14% or 12% interest. He agreed after negotiating. Because what was he looking for? He was out of the area. And here again, some of you think everybody needs cash. Not everybody needs cash. He was an investor, not the mom and pop. Mom and pop want the cash right now. Investors want interest, and they want their money to make money for them. You follow me? So it was $80,000 loan. I think it was 10, 12% down. See, here again, most people freak out. Oh, 12%. Oh my God. Investors don't care. It's a write-off. as long as your cash flow can cover it. We could care less. Make sure you understand that. So here was it. Okay, it was 20 units. Downstairs was vacant, 2,500 square feet vacant. The rooms, hold it, I think I got a little sheet here I'll help you with. The name of the place was S&J. I changed the name of it. I had two managers. Steve was a nice Caucasian guy, and Jose was a nice Spanish guy. So I put their name on the building. I was playing undercover cop back in those days. I would be the janitor. I parked my Ferrari 2 blocks away in the garage, and I'd walk in there. They thought I was a janitor, so I'd take the broom and I started sweeping the hallways on all the floors, and I'd hit all the I would hear what's going on in my own building. See, I was doing that way back then, even with the limousine service. I was driving the cars and I find out who's doing what in our limousine service. Another business I had. But here again, let's go back. So I put 20 grand down, $80,000 loan. He carried for 7 years. You with me? So I named it S&J, Steve and Jose. So I said, Steve, Jose, this is your building, guys. You take good care of it. And they were very proud, very proud. Why do managers be very proud? They have a sense of ownership. And I wanted them to run it like it was theirs, providing they did a good job of it. So I think I got a little chart here. Let's break this down. Oh, it's 12% interest. I'm sorry, 12% interest. So let me tell you the rest of the story, and I'll break this down. So I kept the property for about 6 months, and then I went in and I refinanced it. Now, how much I pay? $100,000. By this time, the value, because I bought it way undervalued, because remember, he was out of town, right? He was in LA. He wanted somebody that was going to put a nice chunk of money down, $20,000, and he was going to carry it. Oh, the $20,000. I forgot to explain that. Well, I had a couple black cards back then. I still have them today, and I had some high limits, like I still have today. And I just went into the bank and I drew down $20,000 on my credit card to put the 20 grand down. Now I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, what about the credit card payments? The building paid the credit card payments. All right, I'm coming in this. You guys are getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me. So I went in, refinanced it. Guess how much it pays at 6 months later? Because the banks wanted to see the loan, what they call season. I had to have at least 6 months under my belts, making payments to him privately, and then they could refinance it. Guess how much I paid $100,000. Guess how much how much it appraised for? Now I'll let you see in a second. $250,000. I paid $100,000. It's valued at $250,000. Doubled, didn't it? Just by sitting on it, buying it right. Now, here we go. I'm going to break this down to you. So I used my credit card for the down payment of 20 grand. Okay. My payments on the loan was, how much were my payments? My payments my payments was $80,000 for 7 years, interest only. So get a calculator out. $80,000 times 7%, times 12%, divide that number by 12. And that was just interest only. In other words, all the payments were going to the interest, nothing going to the principal. So in 7 years, I'd still owe him $80,000. But I'm an investor. It makes sense to me. So my payments were $800 a month. If you could calculate out, it was $800. The rents I was getting on each unit was $150 each month for each of the 20. So what do we got there? We got 20 rooms at $20 at $150 back then. That's $3,000. You with me? $3,000 income. My note was only $800 a month. That gave me $2,200. And guess what? I paid my managers just a little bit of money. They were happy to be managers. Thank you, Mr. Manny Peralta. Now, I'm going to show you what I did. I turned around within 6 months and won up everybody $100 because they're way undervalued, under market. Remember, he was he wanted consistent rent because he was out of the area. He's called an out of the area investor. So he just wanted to keep everything low so everybody would pay. Because I was there to watch over the building, I could go and bring the rents up what they could be. So I ended up going up $100 each. So I went up from $150 to $250. So figure this out. I went to $250 times 20 is how much? From $3,000, I raised the rent to now I was making a cash flow of $5,000 a month. And I'll still pay him $800. And then, and the commercial building downstairs, I rented that out for $2,500 a month. So I got $5,000 for the upstairs 20 units plus $2,500 for the downstairs unit. I was cash flowing $7,500 a month, and my payments were, yeah, 800. All right, now, yeah, big cash flow. So wait a minute. If I'm only paying 800 and I'm bringing in 7,500, do you think how much? What's the difference of that? Hold on, where's my calculator? I'm not that smart tonight. So let's figure out 7,500 minus 800, and let's say I paid the guys 1,500 for their salaries. Wait a minute, I did that right. 7,500 minus $800 equals $6,700 minus $1,500 to the managers. That left me $5,200 cash flow. Do you think I could took 3,000 or 4,000 of that to pay back the 20 that I borrowed, and I still have profit? You see, that's how entrepreneurs think. We don't care about interest. People are challenged think about interest. We write it off our taxes. We're still making money on money. Let's say they charge me 30%. Let's just say 30%. Oh my God, 30%. I've still got a cash. I could pay the 30% back with the payments. Still got 3 or 4 grand left for me. Paying the mortgage, paying my guys, and then paying off the 20 grand, and I still got 3 or 4 grand left. No money down. Done every day, all the time. Because we think outside the box. We're entrepreneurs. And once you start thinking out of the box, things will change for you in your life. So let's go here. Got my chart out. Let's see if we can do this. All right, let me step over here a little bit, see if y'all can see it. So, okay. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. So here we go. The price was $100,000, 20 grand down, $80,000 first mortgage for 7 years at 12% interest. And you guys are crazy. Oh my God, interest today is 7. I was paying 12 back then. Interest only. My payment's been $800 a month. There it is there. The income was at $150 out of 20 times 20 units. That's $3,000. The commercial building downstairs was vacant, so I wasn't bringing in no money when I bought it. Good, I could put my own tenant in. And then in 6 months, I refinanced it. It valued at $250,000. That's what it appraised at. They gave me 75% loan to value. So that means, where is that on here? Is it on here somewhere? Oh, well, it gave me $175,000. So I increased the payments to $250 from $150. So my income went from $250 times 20, $5,000 there. The commercial brought in $2,500. I bring in $7,500 in. Does that make sense? All on a no money down deal. Used my credit card to buy a hotel, and I bought units this way. Oh, here we go. My other worksheet. So $250,000. 75% what they call LTV, loan to value. So the banks will say, we'll give you 75% of what it appraised at. So 75% of 250 is $175,000. My first mortgage was $80,000. Remember that? I put 20 grand down. He carried it 80 for 7 years. That means I got $95,000 back. 20 of that was the down payment money. So I made a profit of $75,000. And watch this. Back to me was $95,000. It was tax-free. Why? Because I refinance money is tax-free money. No taxes paid on the profit. Wow. That's why wealthy people get wealthy through real estate. If you notice, all Fortune 500, they park their money. They make their money in business. Here's a nugget. We make our money in business, but we park it into real estate. Wow. That was 6 months. Think about this. Do you make $75,000 on your job in 6 month profit by just being able to understand from here, brain power? By using my mind, not working. Let's go back. Wealthy people, write this down. Well, let me back up. 95% of people, they W. Let me get my pen out. Let me get a pen and piece of paper out. They W. Well, they W. They work for money. 95% of people W. They work for money. In other words, they work 9 to 5 and their money goes to Wall Street or their 401k retirement plan, and it goes on vacation. Because you don't know what's going to be there in 20 years. Hope and pray. And like I said before, if they make money when your money sit there, even though you may not know it, but they're taking your stock and they're buying and selling all day long without your permission until you get the actual certificates. They don't want you to know this. You don't own it. They own it. And you hope and pray it's going to be there in 30. Do you realize how much money they make on your stock by you letting it sit there? Because you need to dive in how to be a better investor. So let's go back. 95% of the people work for money. Then money go on vacation. The 5%ers, we flip the script. We make money 24 hours a day. And we go on vacation. What? We go on vacation while our money works for us all day and all night. People that work for money, they get up 9 to 5 and they work for the money while the rest of their money in their retirement and bank goes on vacation because they're not paying any interest. You know that. We, on the other hand, we go on vacation and we make money while our money is working for us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this lets you know, because I want to inspire some of you and let you know this. You can still do it today. You can still do it today. I know how many times you can't do that around here. You know how many times I hear that, and I'm still here, no matter what area around the country I go to buy or look at. But here again, it's available. So that's how I got to be on the bank here in Vegas, and then on the bank board. And this is how I bought my hotel with no money down and cash flowed it. And 6 months later, refinanced, pulled a bunch of cash out, and it kept making cash. So the income was $7,500 even after I refinanced it and paid off the first guy. The payments on the second note was like, I think, $2,200 a month or $22,000 or $1,800. I still making cash flow. How many of those could you pick up? Write this down in closing. To think is to create. I'll say it again. To what? Think is to create. And to create is to think. The reason why most people don't advance much because they keep doing the same thing that they've been told by everybody else. To be an entrepreneur, you got to think outside the box. You got to think differently, do differently, and be differently. Remember that. Remember that. And quit letting all this negative take over your mind. And the last thing I want to give you is think about is a little something I want you to write down. The less oxygen you feed your drama and negativity, the faster you can suffocate it. Let me say that again. The less oxygen you give to the negative thinking and negative drama in your life, the faster you can suffocate it. Suffocate it and get around good people who will bless you, who know how to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below. Appreciate everyone. And hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't. Hey, if this is your first time, do this for me. If this is your first time on any of my channels or anything that we watch, can you put a 1 in below if you haven't? If you have been and seen some of my other materials, can you put a 2 down below for me real quick so I can get an idea? And if nothing else, please leave a comment. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Got another topic that you guys want me to discuss. God bless.